Welcome to the installation tutorial for the Dashfreaks flat tiles kit for the Nissan Skyline R34. So let's start on the back side of the Speedo. At first we need to remove the black cover. Yeah, you can just snap it off. You don't need to use screwdrivers or anything else. Now you can remove all other screws that holding the gauges. So now you need to unsolder the EEPROM. So it makes sense to have a solder sucker like this one, or use any other solution to unsolder the EEPROM chip. Make sure that it's loosened. So now we need to remove the front glass. So start with the clips on the downside. You don't need to use any screwdrivers, just use your fingernails so you don't make any scratches. Yes, now you can remove all the gauges. And remove the EEPROM chip. Now place back the EEPROM chip, which is included in the set. And solder it back. It helps if you bend the contact points a little bit. So now it makes sense to use the black cover to hold everything in place. Now we can assemble the LED board. We start with the right side. At first just snap off the small PCB in the middle. Then remove all blue bulbs. These bulbs have these gray caps. So the top wire and the wire on the right side, you can push them through the holes. Now you can get a sharp screwdriver to punch holes for the screws. One on the right side and one on the top left side. Use a Torx screwdriver to turn in the screws into the plastic. If you have an automatic car, I recommend to remove the gear shift indicator. Remove the two screws and pull it a little bit from the housing and let it on the left side here. And then the same procedure for the left LED panel. Assemble back the gear shift indicator. If you have an automatic car, you need to place the small LED board in between the components of the gear shift indicator and stick it there with a double-sided tape. And the same for the board on the buzzer. Now we can start placing the spacers. So just press them into the positions. Now we are ready to assemble the gauges back into the housing. So use the longer screws and place all gauges back. Don't tie. Now we can start to remove the needles. There is a special technique. So turn the needle to the limit and turn it more and more over the limit. So, and do it in the reverse. So every time you push it over the limit, you need to pull the needle slightly upwards until it's get loosen. Repeat this for all the other gauges. So up to the limit and turn and pull. So turn and pull, turn and pull. Never just pull the needle with a spoon or anything else. Every time push over the limit and pull. Now remove all the screws. And remove the dials. Can remove the needle for the oil pressure. Here is the same procedure. So push over the limit and slightly pull upwards. Then remove the screws. And remove the screws of the dial holders for the fuel gauge and for the temp gauge. To install the new holders, you need to place the needle illumination board in between the stepper motor and the holder. So there is one side wider than the other. So check this first before you place them in the position. So place the needle board to the holder and place the cables around it. And tight the screw. So the same procedure for the other side. And now we can start assemble the speedometer gauge. For this you need to place the dial onto the holder and push in the cover for the odometer. So the same method for the illumination board of the needle. The holder should fit well. If it doesn't, then you need to loosen the screws on the back side and realign the assembly. Now get the old pressure gauge and remove the stopper and place the stopper into the new dial. To install the needle for the oil pressure gauge, just place the needle on the random position and then turn the needle and push it down until it's quite tight. And then if you reach the limit, just turn it over the limit until you move the limit to the maximum of the scale. To assemble the tachometer holder and dial, just the same procedure as the speedometer dial. Now you can install all other dials. Now we are ready to install the needles. So let's start with the temperature gauge. Just place the needle randomly, push it down and turn to shift the limit in between the maximum and the letter H. So in between there will be a marking. This is the position for the calibration point. Now with the tachometer, same procedure. Push and turn over the limit until the limit reaches the calibration point. It will be right above the N, the letter N from Nissan. There will be a calibration point. Like this. So for the speedometer, same procedure. Push and turn until the limit is right about the calibration point. It's about where the mounting hole will be. And for the fuel gauge, the calibration point will be right above the maximum. You see? This is perfect. Now we can remove the stoppers from the old dials and install them to the new dials. Before the final assembly, you can use a very soft towel or compressed air to remove all the dust. On the back side, remove the black cover. Use a screwdriver to tighten all the screws from the stepper motors. Then we need to solder the power cables to the LED board. So let's prepare the cables. To solder the wires, place the red cable to the bottom solder area of the bulb and the black on the top one. So we can place back the black cover, connect the red connector and install all remaining screws. When everything is ready, we can go into the car and make a test, at first for the illumination. So each needle and everything should be illuminated well. So let's test it at night. Okay, then start the car and make a short test drive and check if the speedometer is showing correctly. Use your cell phone, for example, to check with GPS. Check also the tachometer if it shows the same values as usual. There is another test for the gauges to check the calibration. For this, you need to turn on the ignition and press one time the trip button. Then turn off the ignition, press and hold the trip button and turn on the ignition. And wait for 3 seconds and press 3 times the trip button. And now you see the calibration check. So the temperature gauge must be a little bit below the middle, the fuel gauge must be a little bit higher than the middle, and the other gauges, there will be calibration points. So that's all. Thanks for watching.